Okay, so last video was about challenge day. That's where I actually made the drill team in the 24. I was 19th out of 24. It was very shocking to me. Um, right after that, this good old-fashioned tradition that has gone on. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how long the drill team's been around. It's been around a long, long time. I don't know when the hazing actually started. I do know when it ended and when it started up again, though. And during that time frame that I was there, 90 and 91, it was on the upswing. It was like, from what I've been told, that was like the pinnacle of hazing. And I'll just go ahead and say, I'm going to tell you exactly what happened, but I'm going to go ahead and say it now that as a 51-year-old veteran looking back, it's amazing how stupid we were, how we treated each other, and all for our just amusement and sport. And they looked at it some kind of a rite of passage, some kind of something to be proud of. And it was anything but. And so basically what happened was after we were dismissed from our gathering to talk about who had made the team, who had not, the platoon commander and platoon sergeant, they got out of there. This is a Friday evening, so it was the first time we'd had liberty the whole time we'd been there. Okay, so you kind of feel like a lamb being led to slaughter because you know what's getting ready to happen. I mean, you've heard all about it. It's not like it takes you by surprise. Why nobody ever said anything is beyond me, but I don't know. Anyway, all of us new guys, all of us new guys, everybody who had not been there the previous year, even some of the B company guys who had transferred over, we all were ordered to get into the head. And keep in mind, this is a barracks at a Naval Air Station in Corpus Christi, okay? And so it's a pretty big room because our rooms didn't have a separate shower. There's a bunch of toilets here and a bunch of showers there, big open room. So enough to get, I don't know, 15 guys in there. And so they made us, we were completely, okay, remember when I said in I think the second video how when I got to the drill team, they basically hazed us for a long time in our class alphas until we passed out? Okay, this is sort of the same thing. But this time we're completely naked. I do remember having on a pair of shoes. Yeah, they told us we had to wear our shoes. I guess we didn't slip and fall and break our legs. I don't know. But this all basically is a whole series of welcome to the silent drill team. You guys are members now. Now push up. We're doing push ups. Now we're doing flutter kicks. Now we're doing mountain climbers. And now we're doing all the Marine Corps exercises. While of course the showers are on hot, so to get the steam going again. The steam bath is always a part of this whole thing. Okay, so the shaving cream came out. Okay, yeah, then they started shaving up, carving initials into your chest. Things that we had one guy who was kind of a smart ass, in a different kind of way than I was. He was like intellectually a smart ass. I was just like, I'd say stupid shit. And they called him the professor because they didn't like the way he said things. Okay, so he would ask questions. He wanted to know. He would ask questions. So, what do you want? I'll have to answer you, professor. Dipshit. Push up now. So they shaved like E equals MC square in his chest, and then a lot of guys who made the 24, they shaved the 24, a 2 and a 4 on their chest, and I got that. Now edge dressing is something that it's like a paint you use to it's made by Kiwi, I do believe, and you use that to paint the side soles of your shoes, okay, to keep them looking sharp so they get scratched up. And so we had a lot of this stuff, and so that came to be like the biggest part of Hell Night was the guy I told you about was our platoon guide, Corporal Beasley, who last I heard he was incarcerated in Alaska. He may be dead now for all I know, because I did not see him having a very long life. He was an outstanding Marine, but he was an absolute lunatic, and he was insane. Like literally, I think he was literally insane. And he got off on torturing us. I think he could go in his room and jack off and think about it, So he was responsible for applying the edge dressing, okay? And so after they shaved a 24 on my chest, he made me go over there and he painted, he outlined it with edge dressing, got over me, and so, haha, funny. Well, what made it worse is he wants to also paint my nuts up, okay? And then he wanted to shove it up my ass. So this and he painted my whole ass crack with the edge dressing. And so it's freaking like paint. Okay, it's I don't know what all's in it, but it's nothing that's good for you. And so here I am walking around with a set of black nuts and a black ass crack, and you know, humiliated. Okay, so it gets even better, because I told you a bunch of these guys did not like me whatsoever, especially the guy I told you that he owed me a case of beer. And so now I'm at his mercy, and there's nothing you can do about it but just go along with it. Okay, you don't fight them, you don't fight back, you get your ass kicked. You're butt ass naked. You know, they're not. Some of those guys are wearing gas masks, and the reason being is because one second year Marine had been collecting a milk jug full of tobacco spit for the past 3 months. So he dipped his Copenhagen and he spit into a cup, then he poured all into this big jug. And so he wrapped the jug up in tape, and he brought it with him to Corpus so it'd be good and fermented and good. And tobacco spit by itself is gross, but it's been fermenting for a while. It's you can't imagine the smell. And so as we're doing push-ups and flutter kicks, he's walking by and he's just sort of shaking that jug over our heads, you know, down our back. And so we're covered in his tobacco spit, and whoever else's tobacco spit he let spit in his cup. That's why those guys were wearing gas masks, because the smell was horrendous. So a couple of us are just, you know, yakking everywhere, puking our guts out. Of course, and it's also, you know, the steam bath is coming, and we're butt naked. Okay, so you can't imagine the amount of humiliation going on here. And of course, they're videotaping the whole damn thing too, and they're making us recite Marine Corps terminology. What's the general order? Oh, sir, first general order is take charge of this post and all government property interviews. And we had to get through all that crap, because Marine Corps knowledge never ceased. Just because you're doing a special duty, like I told you, we were active duty infantry. We didn't just spin rifles and look pretty. We went to the field. We did live fire exercises. We did grunt shit. Okay, and it was funny is when I got down to the fleet a couple years later, they were shocked. They couldn't believe it. They thought they were getting some prima donna pussy who hadn't, you know, been spinning M1 rifles for 2 years. Like, nah, I can run these gun drills. I've been doing this shit for 2 years. Anyway, I'm getting off track. I'm getting fired up because just remembering this shit pisses me off. So this was like March of 1990, and so after the jug of spit was empty, which thank God didn't take too long, we were covered in it. I mean, all of us covered in it, and there was shaving cream everywhere. It's like when you make the football team in high school and they have a big shaving cream party. It's like that, but 20,000 times worse, because these are sadistic, psychotic, you know, young Marines, 20, 21 years old, getting off on the fact that they're doing to you what they got done to them the previous year. Okay, so like I said, the reason hazing gets so out of control is because you have, well, you know what we're gonna do next year? We're gonna do this, but worse. And we're gonna make it even worse, because it goes back to what I said the previous video also, is when you're part of a special unit or team, whatever it may be, either military or civilian, you got a special thing going. Anybody who comes in as a new person, you treat them with utter contempt, because you want to make it even more difficult, because you think you're so damn special that you're going to make it even more difficult on these new guys coming in. Okay, so that's why there's such demoralization. And the irony of the whole damn thing is the fact that the Marine Corps barracks is, like I said, the oldest post in the Marine Corps. It is all about, you know, discipline and esprit de corps and holding up the virtues of the entire Marine Corps. But underneath, like I said, the irony is that underneath it's just the opposite. Okay, and I'm certainly not implicating everybody in the whole Marine Corps. Like I said, the officers that I served under up there my first year, Peter Pace was, you may have heard of him. He was a 4-star general. He's retired now. He was our battalion commander. He's a colonel. I have never known a better Marine in my entire life, and I guarantee you, if he knew what was going on back then, there's no way it would have continued, because he would not have tolerated that crap. He was straight up the best Marine I have ever met in my entire life. My platoon commander, also, I told you, was an Annapolis grad. Have great respect for him. He retired as a colonel, as far as I remember. Yes. And what pisses me off now, looking back, is we could have absolutely destroyed his career, because this is a guy who had, you know, gone to Annapolis. I mean, the freaking Naval Academy is an amazing school. And here he was, you know, we're all on our first enlistments, and this guy was, you know, he was going to make a career out of the Marine Corps, because a lot of officers they don't get to just stay just because they want to. Okay, when I was worked in a reserve center after I got back to duty, and we were screening. They used to have They used to have inactive reserve status, like when you're on after your enlistment and you get like 4 years of inactive reserve, it means they can call you back if they want to. I worked in a center where we brought those guys in, just check, make sure they had all their credentials in line. Are you still living here? Are you still doing that? Yep. So it's basically a check to see if you guys are still around. Well, we got a lot of lance corporals and captains. Okay, we got, because a lot of captains they just couldn't get promoted to major, and they basically had to go to like reserve officer status. They still got their commission, but they're not on active duty anymore. So it takes a special individual, especially in a branch as small as the Marines, to continue with that, continue your career. So we could have totally screwed this guy's career up, and it pisses me off now thinking about it. But again, I was 19, I was 20 years old at the time, and of course I'm just doing what I'm told to do, because I'm just trying to go along and get along. Anyway, the most humiliating aspect of Hell Night for me personally, I got singled out because I told you they didn't like me. They took an ironing board, and we had a lot of ironing boards. Okay, we had to press our clothes all the time. We took an ironing board, and they took a broomstick handle. They took the broom part off because it's a broomstick, and made me spread my arms out, and they duct taped the broomstick to my arms and across my back, right? And so then they attached that to the ironing board. Okay, so now I've got this ironing board like I'm wearing a cape, sort of. Okay, and my arms, so now they say I'm an airplane and I need to do takeoffs and landings down this long hallway. Okay, and so there's soap and there's water. I mean, shaving cream and water everywhere. And of course I'm slipping and sliding. Even though I got on shoes, I'm slipping and sliding, butt ass naked. I mean, like birthday suit naked, with a 24 painted on my, shaved and painted on my chest, my nuts painted black with edge dressing, and my ass crack. Okay, and this is starting to get hardened up too, and it's not feeling very good. And now they're making me do make an airplane like that, and then banking left, and then that kind of crap. And so I did that for a while, and they thought that was funny. And then they took it even further, and then they had me on, like, face down on the deck. And they told me to basically to hump the deck, like I was making sweet love to the deck, right? So I did, and this ironing board slapping up and down, and they just thought that was great. That's freaking hilarious to them, and I'm sitting there going, what do you do, right? What do you do? And of course, the whole thing's being videotaped. So I mean, thankfully, this is in time before there was video cameras everywhere. Everybody had a phone. No one had a cell phone back then, and all we had is a VHS recorder, right? So the master tape was just the master tape. We use that same tape to record all of our shows, so we can critique ourselves later. That was the actual official function. But meantime, let's use this to laugh at how funny it is, her hazing these new Marines. And so eventually it all ended, and so we were tasked with cleaning the place up. And thankfully, I mean, there was 15 other guys with me. We all pretty much went through the same treatment. Me and a couple of guys who were, the black sheep, we got treated worse, and we had to extra time cleaning up. But that was Hell Night, and my first Hell Night. And so it took a long time. It took weeks for all that edge dressing caked off of my nuts and my ass. It took me a long time for my chest here to grow back, and it's just freaking humiliating. And from that point on, every video, it just descends into more dark places, okay? Because especially that first year, I told you before, that my first year, I hated every single day I was there, okay? I mean, a few good things happened here and there, but overall, 1990 was an absolute just horrible year for me because of just the way we were treated. I told you, there was no respect given. There was nothing but pure harassment and hazing all the time. Sexual abuse, borderline psychotic S&M type shit, okay? And they just thought it was funny as hell. They just thought, it's amazing what a lack of moral fortitude some of these people had. And these are guys who were in the most disciplined unit in the entire Marine Corps, okay? We were hand freaking picked. You don't, like I said before, you don't just raise your hand one day in formation. Hey, I'd like to go to 8th and 9 and be on the drill team. Yeah, sure, come on up. No, I went through the whole process of how you got picked for this shit, okay? You don't just show up one day and say, I want to do this, I think I'll try out. You have to be picked. And then you have to not only be picked, you have to go through a grueling selection process, grueling training, and then comes all down to you barely squeak in. Then they want to paint your nuts up and shave cute little words and phrases into your oh, the guy I told you they called the professor. He also drew like a little tic-tac-toe board on his belly, like he had abs. Yeah, every little thing you can think of is just stupid. And but again, the irony of the whole damn thing, this is the most disciplined place in the entire Marine Corps. All right, like we went to other bases and judged the shit out of them, especially air wing bases, air bases in general. Whole different Marine Corps, grunt bases in Pendleton and Lejeune, and down at San Diego at the recruit training, and also at Parris Island. Well, we put on a hell of a show down there, and they just thought we were the greatest things in the world. And the whole time I'm like freaking got PTSD from all the trauma we're suffering because when you're first year in the Marine Corps, like I told you get treated like shit. And I was on the 24, and I still got treated like shit. But the guys who were the supers, let's just call them bench warmers from now on, because that's a dumb word, supernumerary. I don't even know what the hell that means. That's what we call them. They literally were slaves. I mean, they're fetching water, for guys, carrying the rifle crates everywhere, guarding the rifle crates everywhere. I mean, everything. You're just basically there to serve at the behest of these senior Marines. And again, that in itself's not a problem. It's just the way you're treated, the lack of respect you're treated with. I mean, here you are on the silent drill team, which is not easy. You have to get there on your own. You can't just, hey man, can you get me on the drill team? No, you have to prove yourself, okay? And even after you do that, they still treat you like total shit. There's, like I said, no encouragement whatsoever, none. Matter of fact, it's just the opposite. Okay, so you have to overcome a lot of shit just to function daily. And maybe I'm a little bit sensitive to it. I've always been that kind of sensitive person anyway. And things I can't tolerate are just people being treated that way. It's just I can't stand it. Even in my adult life and my civilian life, I cannot stand people to be treated certain ways. You use some basic human dignity, right? I mean, we weren't up there saving lives. We weren't Navy SEALs. We were just a bunch of guys spinning rifles and looking good. So anyway, that was the first hell night. The second hell night I went through was my second year, and that's another video by itself. That's what led to the national exposure of it. Now, I'm sorry, that's not really true. No, but but again, it got progressively worse, and we used the same type of shit. We did the same thing. We just took it a little far. Anyway, enough of the darkness. We're gonna go ahead and sign off here and talk about something else. See ya.